As the title says, this is the most mysterious chess puzzle you will ever see. It might actually look simple on first sight. I mean, we have a discovered attack, and a rook move should win the game, right? That's our first instinct, probably. Now, when we think about it for the first time, we'll probably think of rook h5, just winning the bishop. Is that enough though? So after, let's say, king c7, and you and take the bishop, this position is not enough to win. With perfect play or with good play, black should be able to hold it. We are up a piece, but we have no other piece to play with. So rook plus bishop versus rook. Even if you win the pawn, which you will probably, it will still be a draw with good play. So a simple discovered check is not the answer here. It is not going to win for us. So what could it be? What is the key to solving this position? With just four pieces and three pawns on the board, how can there be complicated ideas? The idea should be simple, right? It is in a way simple. So I would suggest you guys to stop watching the video, pause the video, and try to calculate out the win. Try to search for that winning move that will win the game. So basically, we want to move the rook and win something big like the black rook. So that's a clue. So you can pause the video and think. I'm going to explain the solution now in a few seconds. The key to understanding this, the key to understanding the solution or to finding the solution is if the c pawn is not there, rook a5 wins a rook because the discovered attack is not winning a bishop, it's winning a rook. So we'll be up a rook in that position and that's winning, right? So we need to somehow get rid of this pawn. But how can we do that? We can't make this pawn vanish just like that. If you play something like pawn takes, king takes, it's not enough. The king gets out of the discovered attack. So the first move is rook to d6. What is the point? Okay, what are the options for the king? If king goes to c7, then it's a pretty simple win. Yeah, we play pawn takes pawn, and if king takes rook, we just take here, and the pawn is going to promote. There's no way to stop it. We win. So after rook d6 check, the more critical line is king takes pawn. But this is also an easy win. We just play rook to d5 check, and we force the king, and we get the idea that we wanted. We wanted to get the c pawn out of the way and play rook a5. This is winning, right? We will win the rook. 2 pawns are not going to be a problem. So king into c5 is also not a problem. That's why we wanted to play rook d6 to get rid of the c pawn. But what happens if instead of king takes pawn, if he plays king b5? This is the most critical line. Now what do we do? We got to play pawn takes pawn. We need to get a pass pawn. If you play rook takes pawn, king takes pawn, and that's just a draw. So we play pawn takes pawn, attacking the rook, and now isn't it just lost for black? The rook has no squares. Wherever the rook moves, let's say rook a1, we just push. And the check is just a check. We just move the king. And because the black king is in the way, the pawn is going to promote and the rook is hanging. So moving the rook to the only square here or here or here is just going to win the game for us. But what else can black do? There is one amazing defense here for black, which starts with bishop to e6. To understand that, we have to understand black needs to get the rook. You can't come here, right? And then play rook b8. That's not possible because bishop takes it. That's a problem. But somehow the black rook has to come to the last rank, either here, 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 or here, somewhere in two moves. If that happens, so for example, let's say rook magically comes here, okay, and then the white pawn pushes and rook goes back. Rook has stopped the pawn. That's a draw, right? Because of limited material. So that is what black wants. So how will the rook come to this side so that it can go back? Rook can do that with this check. The plan being, if king moves to b2, rook a2 check. And when king moves, it doesn't matter where, the rook comes to h2. And when we push the pawn, the rook will just come behind. After a king to c3, we can even play rook to a3. That's even better. That way you win a piece. So probably king will have to go back to b1 or c1. So after king b1, we'll play rook h2, and this is drawish. So you push the pawn, rook comes behind, and our king is not in the game. So we don't have any ideas here, and the rook is just stopping everything. Yeah, and the bishop is also intact. So this is the problem. So after bishop e6 check, you would have seen the killer move, or the move that looks like the killer move. Rook takes bishop, right? So the point being, if pawn takes, we just take here and we're just winning. Yeah, but this is where the amazing defense comes in. When we play rook takes bishop, black has this amazing resource, rook to b7, sort of an in-between move. So the point being, if you take, then black takes. And now when we move the bishop, bishop somewhere, they take the pawn, and that's a draw. So by forcing our bishop to take on b7, we are forced to block our own pawn. So black is able to take the pawn. So that is the resource there. So rook to b7. When we take the bishop, black just plays rook b7. So now how do we proceed from here? We want to take the rook, but we don't want to lose our rook. So we play rook e5 check, right? Now we're winning. No? So after, let's say, king to a6, we just play bishop take b7, it's a rook up. Yeah, rook d5, and when king takes, we take here. So it's winning. Yeah. But again, black has one resource left in the position, and that is d5, an interference. Like, our rook and bishop would not want to be blocked from this diagonal and from this file. But d5 does both. So one of our pieces will get blocked, whichever way we take. So now how do we take? Do we take with the rook or do we take with the bishop? Very important question. The natural thing would be to take with the rook, right? Rook takes, king takes, and then a check. But the problem is king c7, and when you take the rook, they take our rook. So this is the problem. Sorry, king takes pawn. King takes pawn, and now rook check. King c7, king will go to c7. So when we take his rook, it's a counter check. We moved the king, we gave a check, he moved the king out of the way with a counter check. So you got to take, and king takes, and this is a draw. So after d5, the winning move is the counterintuitive bishop takes d5, allowing rook takes pawn. So what's the plan? We know that rook plus bishop versus a rook is a theoretical draw. That's why it was not enough to win the bishop in the starting position. Remember? But how is this a win? It's a win because after rook takes pawn, there is the amazing checkmate, which is like a sweet finish to the whole puzzle. It's our move. The black king is kind of out of square if the rook is unblocked. Bishop to b7. This nice little checkmate. So what a ride. It all started with the discovered attack possibility with the bishop. But the symbol rook h5 is not enough. We wanted the pawn to not be there so we can play rook a5. That's why we came across rook d6. And now if they take, we get our idea and we win. King is only that square. We win. But black finds resource after resource with king b5. Now after takes, he finds bishop e6. And just when it looks like we are completely winning after rook take bishop, he plays this nice rook b7 move. And this is where we have to be careful. Rook e5, pawn blocks, and now bishop takes. And after rook takes, checkmate. What a puzzle.